Okay. Close. Okay, let's move on. Tap. Yep, I'm in. Okay, so I'm joining. People joining.
Hello, Rob.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Gabriel. Hello, Sean. How's it? How are you?
Good
Nice
for
to
you.
see you all. Who else with us? Who else with us? I don't know.
Me.
Hello, Bob. It's Michelle.
Hello, Michelle. How's it? Whoa. Good, good. Hello, Marky. How's it?
Hello, Rob.
How's it? How's it? Hello, Janet.
How are you?
What is that? I'm okay, and you? What is that? SLAA something Bach? I don't know what does it say. I don't know even who's that. Is that you, Michelle? I don't know who's that. I really don't know.
It's
Okay.
not Rob.
Who's that? Who's the other guy with us on the line? I see Gabriel. I know Sean. I don't know who's the other guy. Really, I don't.
He's a spy.
Oh, okay. He's a spy. Okay, let him join us. He can spy on us. Okay, let's give another few more seconds. Oh, it's Anthony. Antonio. How's it? I didn't recognize you.
I'm with a mask.
No, not your mask. Your address. The address that you have. I didn't recognize your address. That's all. Anyway, but good. Thank you for joining us. We give another few seconds and then we'll start the show. In the meantime, I would like to. Hello, Iva. How's it? How are you?
Fine, thanks.
I would like. Good. I would like to dedicate the show to Liron Ben Sarit, in health of Liron Ben Sarit, Menashe Naji Ben Farha, Shmuel Ben Michal. Who else? Kol Sha'ar Holei Amo Bet Israel, please God. All the sick. Guys, just mute yourself, so because you're making noise, so it's not going to disturb us for the show. I see Louis joining us. Hello, Louis. Thank you for joining us. And I would like to dedicate the show in memory of our friend Moti, Mordechai Ben Rahma, Esther Kaden Bat Ketzia, Yosef Ben Malka. That's my grandfather. That was his yahrzeit yesterday. Please, God, he should get Aliyat Neshama from his grandson. I hope that I'll give him some nachas. And all the Jewish people. Okay, I see that people starting to join. Hello, Benjamin. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Rabbi. How are you?
Baruch Hashem. When I see you all, I'm happy. I'm going to mute everyone except Mark going to unmute himself because he's going to be the Baal Koreh for us. So, Mr. Schenker, in your own time, you unmute yourself, please. Thank you. So, Be'ezrat Hashem na'aseh v'natzliach, Rabotai. We are on Parashat Chukat. Parashat Chukat, it's parasha that speak about the red heifer, the Parashat Para Aduma. And before I start, I would like just to remind everyone, please everyone, just remember that to say Birkat HaLevana, okay? Those of you that didn't say Birkat HaLevana should say Birkat HaLevana because we still have time. Okay, בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. We're going to start. פרשת חוקת. וידבר אדוני אל משה ואל אהרון לאמור. Mark chapter 19, verse 1 only. בכבוד.
Hashem spoke to Moses and to Aaron saying.
Okay. That's it.
You want me to read the second one?
No, just it, because we have to explain that. So our sages explained to us that in our Torah, if you look at the Mefarshim, most of the Mefarshim doesn't speak about the first verse. Not Rashi, not the Rambam, not Or HaChaim, not even Baal HaTurim, and not even Siftei Hachamim, and not even Yonatan ben Oziel. I'm just looking here at all the commentary, except I see that Unkelu Sager that he translated to Aramaic. But we have to understand that none of our
Levy,
Mefarshim speak
nella
about it.
lista
What does it
c'è Rabbi
say?
Levy.
What does it say? וידבר השם אל משה ואל אהרון. So our sages explain something extraordinary. What did they explain? They explain that there is certain parshiyot in the Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu speak directly to Moshe Rabbeinu. There is certain parshiyot that HaKadosh Baruch Hu speak only to Aaron HaKohen. And there is certain parshiyot that HaKadosh Baruch Hu speak to Moshe Rabbeinu and to Aaron HaKohen. This parsha that we have, that Chazal tell us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu speak to Moshe and to Aaron. Okay, that's very simple. We understand that. But immediately we have to understand, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu speak to Aaron regarding Para Aduma, the red heifer? Because we know the secret of the red heifer. Be'ezrat Hashem will speak about it later on. We try to understand what we can understand, and you'll help me. What is the secret behind the red heifer? And Chazal explained that no one knows the real secret of Para Aduma. HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed it only to Moshe Rabbeinu. And the Mefarshim asked, wait, I don't understand. In that case, how come that HaKadosh Baruch Hu speak to Moshe Rabbeinu and to Aaron? If you reveal the secret of the red heifer only to Moshe Rabbeinu, why does he have to speak to Aaron? Because only Moshe knows about it. So why does he have to speak also to Aaron? So the Mefarshim explain it's true. Moshe Rabbeinu knew the secret of the Para Aduma. That's for sure. There's no question about it. But what was amazing about it, and we have to understand that the Kohen that used to do it, okay, when he used to do the ash of the red heifer with the Maim Hayim, he used to get contaminated for that day. Therefore, the Kohen Gadol could not do that. That means that Aharon, a Kohen that was Kohen Gadol, cannot do Para Aduma. So who used to do it? So the first red heifer ever done, it was Moshe Rabbeinu. Until now, 9 parot been done. That means 9 red heifer been done. We're waiting when Mashiach come, he'll do the number 10. And then we're all going to be pure. We're going to remember everything. We're going to be healthy. It's unbelievable. So the Mefarshim ask in that case, so who's doing it? So the Mefarshim explain that from here you learn that who was the vice of Aharon HaKohen? Elazar, his son. So Elazar, his son, used to do what? The story of Para Aduma. That means that he used to sprinkle the water. And after he used to sprinkle the water of the red heifer and doing all the system, that means, like we explained in the previous year, that the Rambam bring in Ilchot Para Aduma how they used to do it. They used to shecht it, and then they used to burn it, and then they used to take stick, and they used to make sure that they used to heat the skin of the red heifer until it's become powder. And then they used to take that powder and mix it and ground it. And that hash that left after the grounded, they used to use it as the red heifer that was called Heffer Para Aduma. That means that the ash of the red heifer. But now let's go back to us to understand. So how come that HaKadosh Baruch Hu speak to Aaron? Aaron not going to do it. And Moshe know the secret. Okay, so understand, speak to Moshe. But you're speaking to Aaron HaKohen, the Kohen Gadol. Kohen Gadol not allowed to get contaminated. So the Mefarshim explain, you know why? Because Aaron was the Kohen Gadol. Who was the vice? The vice was his son. In that case, who gonna teach him? Who gonna show him? Who gonna explain to him when to do it and how to do it? It have to be Moshe Rabbeinu. but also Aharon. Why? We have to understand that together, because Moshe, what was his job? He was the king. He didn't have the time all the time to do. He done the first red heifer. After that, the Kohanim have to do it. It's a job of the priest. So say from here you learn, you know why HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke to Moshe and Aaron together in this parsha? Although that Aaron never done the Parah Adumah, because he had to pass it on to his own children, to his own descendants, that they are Kohanim. And now we can understand why is the parsha speak, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu speak in this parsha to Moshe and Aaron HaKohen, Moshe Rabbeinu. And now I'm going to go to verse 2, and I'm going to read verse 2. זאת חוקת התורה, אשר ציווה אדוני לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ויקחו אליך פרה אדומה תמימה, אשר אין בה מום, אשר לא עלה עליה עול. בכבוד.
Okay, this is the decree of the Torah, which Hashem has commanded, saying, speak to the children of Israel, and they shall take to you a completely red cow, which is without blemish, and upon which a yoke has not come.
Okay. So first of all, it says, Zot Chukat HaTorah. So in English, it says, in Chukah is Chok. What it means, Chok, is a law. But the way that the commentary explained that this is, sorry, how did you call it? How did he call it? Chukah? Mark?
A decree.
Decree. Okay. Why decree? We have to understand. So first of all, we have to understand that law, it's a mitzvah. And Hazal explains something extraordinary. It says, Zot Chukat HaTorah. This is the law, or this is the decree of the Torah. That means that we as a human being, in our small mind, we cannot understand what's hiding behind the secret of Parah Adumah. The secret of Parah Adumah revealed HaKadosh Baruch Hu only to Moshe Rabbeinu. And the reason behind it, that no human being can accept it. That means our mind can never absorb it. And say David HaMelech something extraordinary. Say David HaMelech in Sefer Tehillim, in the book of Tehillim. By the way, on Sunday I'm going to speak about the book of Tehillim, Be'ezrat Hashem, and we'll try to understand what is Tehillim, the virtue of the book of Tehillim. In verse 81, in chapter 81, verse 5, the Torah tells us something extraordinary. The Torah tells us, Kehok hu liYisrael, mishpat leEloi Yaakov. It's a decree to the Jewish people, but it's a law to the God of Jacob. What does it mean? Hazal explained, from here you learn something extraordinary. You learn that the story of Parah Adumah, the secret and the idea and the energy of Parah Adumah, only HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows. To understand that more, Rashi HaKadosh say, what it mean Chukah? Chukah, it means that because the nation and the Satan teased the Jewish people on that mitzvah. Why did they tease them? They say, listen, it's a decree. It's a law that you don't understand. How do you do something that you don't understand? Come the Maran Bet Yosef. Maran Bet Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo. Rabbi Yosef Karo, he wrote the Shulchan Aruch, as you all know. He born in Toledo, in the city of Toledo, 532 years ago. And he come and help us to understand how to overcome when people try to tease us regarding this mitzvah. And he said like this. He said, you have to understand that if certain people come, Gentile people, that they really non-believer, come and will ask you, how come that you believe in such a mitzvah that you don't understand what you're doing? Say, the Maran Bet Yosef giving you an answer that he destroy and conquer every idea that a person that is a non-believer non-believer can think. And he said like this. He said, Lo aleinu, when a person's sick, doesn't make a difference who he is. He go to the doctor. And the doctor that study medicine, subscribe a medicine. We have Gabriel here as a doctor. He study medicine, so he knows. It's come to tell me, when you go to the doctor, and the doctor subscribe you a medicine, for whatever is it, Lo aleinu. Let's say on the enemy of Israel, will subscribe medicine. Let them be sick. He said like this, do you ask the doctor, listen, this medicine that you give me, what is it made from? What is the ingredient inside? How does it work? You don't ask. Why? Because you rely on a doctor and you trust that the doctor that study medicine, he know what he's doing. He said the same when it's come to your religious. Say the Maran Abet Yosef like this. You have to trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he's the doctor. He told you to do Para Aduma, the red heifer. You have to trust that he know what he's doing. The same, like you rely on a doctor. You trust that what he study, you know what he study. Otherwise, he wouldn't be a doctor. Said the Maran Abet Yosef, that's the answer that you have to give those people that try to tease you and those people that are not believers, that they don't believe in that mitzvah of Para Aduma. And now we understand why it says, this is the decree, that's the decree that the Torah tells us. That means Zot Chukat Torah. That's the decree of the Torah, you don't ask. Okay, now I understand. Let's continue and let's see what it says in a verse. It says, Asher tziva Adonai le'emor. That means that that's the decree that HaKadosh Baruch Hu command us to say. Why does it say command us to say? We don't say it to anyone. So I saw a commentary, a beautiful commentary of Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Yitzhak Luria Ashkenazi. Rabbi Yitzhak Luria Ashkenazi, born in Jerusalem 486 years ago. And he said that from this verse, those words that we learn, we can learn how to study Torah and how to remember it. And he explained like this. And he said, if you take the word tziva, it's command. What it means command? He said, take the word tziva and look at the acronym of the word tziva. Tzadik is 90. Vav is 6. Hey is 5. Together is 101. What's the connection? Focus with me and you'll understand, because Ari HaKadosh speak about a little bit high, and he speak about the Torah Kabbalah. Not that we understand Kabbalah. I definitely don't understand, maybe you, but I'm going to try to explain it in a way that it's easier for us to understand. And he explained like this. He explained the mystical part behind it. And he said like this. Everything in this world, there is an angel that's in charge about him. There is an angel in charge about the trees, angel in charge about the waters, angel that's in charge about the fire, and etc. He said that there is also a special angel that's in charge about the memory. And his name is Mem Samech. It's actually backwards, Samech Mem. And if you do the acronym of his name, his Mem is 40, Samech is 60, together is 100. He say that number one, if you want to remember all what you study, the Torah that you study, repeat it 101 times. Why 101 times? That's equivalent to tziva, command. That means that the acronym of tziva is one more than the acronym of the name of that angel that's in charge about the people that he take from them the memory. That means he make them forget what they study. So he said by that you repeat your study 101 times, you above him. And he can't do anything to you. He can't control you. But he says something else. Asher tziva Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu command us le'emor. What it mean le'emor? To say. He said, from here, I'll give you another another tools how to remember your study. And he said, when a person study Torah, when a person read Torah, read a Mishnah, read a commentary, read a halacha, if you say it and you can hear it, that's a remedy that you will remember what you study. That means, say Ari HaKadosh, from that it say, Asher tziva Hashem le'emor, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu commands us to say, you learn from here how to study Torah and how to remember your Torah. Number one, to say it loudly, that you can hear it. And if you can hear it, you also can remember it. And if you repeat it 101 times, you're above that angel that's in charge on forgetfulness. So now we understand what it means, Asher tziva Hashem lemor. Then it says, V'yikhu elecha para aduma. What it means, V'yikhu elecha para aduma, I will translate it to English, and they shall take to you a red heifer. Okay? And immediately we have to understand why it say it should take to you. That means to Moshe Rabbeinu. So Rashi HaKadosh immediately come to help us. What does Rashi HaKadosh say? Ikhu elecha le'olam nikret al shimcha. That means forever it will be named after you. What it means? Para she'asa Moshe b'midbar. That means the first red heifer that ever been done by Moshe Rabbeinu, it's been done in the wilderness, b'midbar, it will be named after you. What did Rashi try to tell us? I don't understand. What's happening here? Usually Rashi speak and he send code, and between the code you have to understand. So I'm going to bring actually two commentaries to help us to understand. And the Mefarshim explain that the red heifer that Moshe Rabbeinu done in the wilderness, it had such a highly significant, okay? And he knew the secret of the red heifer. What it means significant? That means that red heifer that he done, the ash from it, they'll use when the Mashiach come and when he do the 10 red heifer. Not only that, the other 8 red heifer that been done, each one of them been added up from the ash of the red heifer that Moshe Rabbeinu done in the wilderness. Okay. So what is the secret? Everyone asks. So Hazal explained that Moshe Rabbeinu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, revealed to Moshe Rabbeinu the secret of Para Aduma. What it means, the secret? The secret of Para Aduma that we don't understand is that if you take the ash of Para Aduma and you mix it with the water, okay, and then you take that ash, after you mix it, it's become like nothing, it's become water. The Kohen Gadol, if he wants to purify someone that is contaminated, you have to sprinkle it on a person that got contaminated to make him pure. But what is the secret of it? The same water that he sprinkled on that was contaminated, that person become pure. But the Kohen himself immediately become contaminated for one day. And that's what no one can understand. How come that the same water that the Kohen sprinkle on someone that is impure, the person that was impure become pure, and the Kohen that was pure become impure? That's the question of the Mefarshim. And no one knows how to explain that. Maybe in a mystical, they have some idea, but this is the secret of Para Aduma. This is the secret that HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed to Moshe Rabbeinu. So it's come to tell us that Moshe Rabbeinu, how did he reach to that level? By that he purified himself and holy himself until he reached to a level, Moshe Ish Elokim. Moshe, the man of God. What it mean, the man of God? Hazal explained that he purified himself, that he become so purified that he become, the top part of his body become like God. And the lower part, that means from the hip to his legs, that was like a human being. because he born from a human being. It's come to tell us, you know how Moshe Rabbeinu become so holy? Moshe Rabbeinu not only that become holy, that he work on himself, he never sinned in his life, said the Mefarshim, our sages. Not only that, you know what he done? He done Tikkun Adam HaRishon, Het Adam HaRishon. That means that Moshe Rabbeinu managed to do atonement to the sin of Adam and Eve. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not normal. Come, I'm bringing now a commentary of Rabbi Yitzhak Dona Barbanel. Rabbi Yitzhak Dona Barbanel wrote a commentary on the Torah. It's called the Barbanel. Rabbi Yitzhak Dona Barbanel, born in the city of Lisbon in Portugal 583 years ago. And his family was from the Jewish people that fled from Spain to Portugal, because the Spanish Inquisition, when it started first in Spain, then it moved to Portugal. And Rabbi Yitzhak Dona Barbanel been offered by the Queen Isabella, because he was in charge about the finance, to stay, and they promised him that not gonna guard him. He said, I'm with my nation. If you're gonna send my nation to exile, I'm going with my nation. And he said like this, listen what he said, that Moshe Rabbeinu managed to purify himself, that almost nothing left on his body that was materialism. Just a little bit of materialism left on his body while he was alive. When he died, when Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, listen to that, he became 100% pure. That means nothing, materialism, was in his heart, in his soul. That means he didn't care about material stuff. And he say, how do you know that? Say Rabbi Yitzhak Dona Barbanel and give us an answer straight to the point. He said, no one knows where is Moshe Rabbeinu buried. No one knows where is the grave of Moshe Rabbeinu. That means that Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't have a grave. And no one knows where he's buried. All it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Torah tells us, vayikvor oto bagay, mul bet peor. HaKadosh Baruch Hu buried Moshe Rabbeinu himself. No one buried him. Where? In the front of Avodah Zarah, that called Bet Peor. Where is it? Rabotai, Hazal explained to us, the Mefarshim and the Poskim explained today, it's opposite what called Yericho, the city of Yericho, Jericho, in Eretz Israel. When you go to the south of Israel, if you turn left, like going to Bet Sha'an, you see the city of Jericho. He's in a mountain opposite. Where? No one knows. That's it. That's all what we know. And Hazal explained why not. The Mefarshim asked, the Shaila, Hazal asked, why HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't reveal to us where is Moshe Rabbeinu buried? Why is it? We know where is everyone buried, the Gedolim, but Moshe Rabbeinu, our king, he redeemed us. We know where is the forefathers and the grave of the patriarch. Moshe Rabbeinu, no. Why? The answer was like this. Hazal explained that if Bnei Israel, if the Jewish people knew where Moshe Rabbeinu buried, they will go to his grave and cry and beg that Moshe Rabbeinu will daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to redeem us from our tzoros, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have to answer his pledge. Do you understand? Bnei Israel will go and cry to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu will stand in tefillah and pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have to answer Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay, so what's wrong with that? It's wrong. Because if Has v'Shalom, Bnei Israel will do averot, the punishment will be 10 times or 100 times or 1,000,000 times worse, said the Mefarshim. That's why we don't. No one knows the grave of Moshe Rabbeinu. I'm going to add up something for you to understand that I read. Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Yitzhak Louis Ashkenazi that we spoke, he took an oath. that the Ramak, it's Rabbi Moshe Cordovero. Rabbi Moshe Cordovero was a great Kabbalistic that lived in the 16th century. As a matter of fact, he born 498 years ago. His family originally from Spain, and there was also a need to flee during the Spanish Inquisition from Spain. And the Ari Kadosh took an oath that the Ramak, Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, never sinned in his life. And not only that, listen to that, he also done a repentance to the sin of Adam Arishon. Rabbi Moshe Cordovero. Funny enough, that's I'm the little one. It's my idea. Who done the same thing? Moshe Rabbeinu. What is his name? Moshe. Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, his name also Moshe. Look, both Moshe. In my opinion, my humble opinion, it's my opinion. I never read it. And I'm going to check it now that I'm speaking about it. While I'm talking to you, just sparked to me that maybe Rabbi Moshe Cordovero have a spark of reincarnation of Moshe Rabbeinu. Be'ezrat Hashem, I'll check it and I'll try to answer that. So we see from here why it says Para Aduma. We explain the secret of Para Aduma. We explain what it says in a pasuk, V'yikhu elecha, and they shall take to you. Why dafka it's mentioned on your name. We explain what is it hukah, that what is the law, okay, to explain that this is a law that HaKadosh Baruch Hu know what's the secret behind Para Aduma, and we don't know, but we still obligated to do that decree that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put on us to make Para Aduma. Ado, that if the Satan or the other nation will laugh on us and tease us, how can you do a mitzvah that you don't understand the purpose behind it, that you don't understand what's the secret behind it? So come the Maran Bet Yosef and giving us an answer how to answer them. The same like you go to the doctor and you don't understand how the medicine works, and you take it because you trust and you rely on the doctor that study medicine, you rely on him and you take that medicine. The same we do Para Aduma, and that's our medicine, to purify us, to make us much more holy people. With your permission, I'm going to move, because I spend half an hour on just explaining the first two verses, mainly the second verse, and I would like to move to verse 6 in the chapter 19, and listen what it says. It says here something extraordinary. Velakach hakohen etz erez ve'ezov ushni tolad ve'eshlich etoch tzrefat hapara.
The Cohen shall take cedar wood, hyssop, and crimson thread, and he shall throw them into the burning of the cow.
Okay. In previous year, we explained why is the Torah mentioned first cedar tree, that it's very, very tall and very strong, and then it's go to a bush that called hyssop, and then it's go to what we call tulat shani, crimson and what, Mark? Crimson
thread.
Crimson thread. It's like a worm. It's like a worm.
Yeah, it's like a string.
Yeah, that's it. Why? Why all of those different character traits we have to understand? So in previous year, we explained that the main reason that the person sinned because he have arrogancy, and that what? That the cedar tree. That's very tall, is arrogant. The Torah come and tell him, listen, you must lower yourself, you must become humble and modest. The same like the hyssop and the crimson and threads. That's what we explained previous year. I saw a commentary when I was preparing that shiur from Rabbi Yosef Haim. Rabbi Yosef Haim, it's the famous Ben Ish Hai that I always quote. He born in the city of Baghdad 186 years ago in Iraq. And he wrote many books. One of his books, it's called Aderet Eliyahu. his father was Eliyahu, and he wrote that book in honor of his father, because his father was a great rabbi, and he went to write a book in honor of his father, and he called it Aderet Eliyahu. And he explained how those three things that it's mentioned in the Torah, the cedar tree, the hyssop, and the crimson and the thread, fit in each other, and why dafka in that order? Why is the Torah giving us three different ideas, and why dafka this order? And he said like this. He said that the Kohen in Bet HaMikdash, that the Kohen was in Bet HaMikdash, he used to take a cedar tree, he used to take the hyssop, and he used to take the crimson ribs, and he used to burn it with a red heifer. He said today that we don't have Bet HaMikdash. It's the job of the rabbi to be like the Kohen Gadol. And the job of the rabbi is to make sure that his student will love the Torah, okay? And to have the passion and the excitement to study Torah. What's the connection? He said, first of all, you have to understand the parable. The parable of Torah is like a tree. Where do we learn that it's a tree? That Torah is a tree. The smartest man, Shlomo HaMelech, wrote in his book Mishlei in chapter 3, verse 18. What does it say there? Etz Haim hi lamachzikim ba. What it means? A tree of life is those that hang on it. That's mean. People that study Torah, that's how they survive difficult time. When people have difficult time, the only way that they can get out of their sorrows, out of those evil thoughts, out of depression, by learning Torah. Rabotai, when I say learning Torah, it's not necessarily only Torah, what we speak in the written Torah. It's also oral Torah. It's all the Tanakh, include Tehillim. Remember the book of Tehillim. I'm going to explain to you on Sunday the value of the book of Tehillim. You're not going to believe. So it's come to tell us that the Torah is like a tree. And if you hang to that tree, the tree of life, what is it? The Torah. If you learn Torah, that's how you can survive those during those difficult times. And especially now that we are. Shul is closed. There is no shiurim. Baruch Hashem, there is Zoom. HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought a great chokhmah to the world, and they developed Zoom. So we can spread the word of wisdom, the word of Torah to other people. So he said like this. He said that the job of the rabbi is like the Kohen Gadol. The job of the rabbi is to take people and to implant inside the heart the passion to study Torah. And how do you do that? He said at the beginning, you should go according to the order the Pasuk say. What does it say? Eitz. What does it mean, Eitz? A cedar tree. The cedar tree is a tree that high and tall. That means when you start, give all your students at the beginning, praise them. Inject them with a lot of energy. Inject them with a lot of praise. Teach them that it's beautiful what they're doing, how hard they're working. Give them a good word. After you give them those good words, and they know a little bit of Torah, the next stage is to teach them humbleness and humility. That's reach to hyssop, the bush of the hyssop, because it's low, to lower the arrogancy. And the final thing they should reach to be lower like a worm on the floor. Thread. And that said the Gaon Ben Ish Hai, that that's the job of a rabbi, to teach his student, to teach everyone that he can. At the beginning, boost them, giving them the excitement to learn Torah. But once that you know that they know Torah, the most important, speak to them Musa. What it means, Musa? That to run away from proud and arrogancy, to work on their humility. that the person should to understand the most important thing in this life, it's humbleness. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, if there is an arrogant person, he can, En ani ve'hu hayim beyachad. That means me and an arrogant person, we can't be together. I can't take arrogancy. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a matter of fact, hate people that they're arrogant and proud. I built that business. I done that. Who giving you the energy? Excuse me. Who giving you the energy to wake up in the morning? Not to have a headache. Who giving you the energy to open the door of your business? And you say, I. HaKadosh Baruch Hu can't take it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu teach and open the Torah and given the wisdom to those that are very humble. And that's what that pasuk come to teach us. This verse come to teach us how much a person should work on his humility, humbleness, and how to run away from arrogancy and proud. And that's how it fit with Para Aduma. Because why a person sit, now I'm adding it, that's my interpretation, because he's arrogant. Why do you sin? Because you're proud, you're arrogant. It's giving you the right to do things that you shouldn't. That's what caused you to sin. HaKadosh Baruch Hu come and say, you know what? The medicine for it? I'll give you the medicine. You start as a cedar tree, lower yourself right to the ground. What is the ground? A womb. And Rabotai, what does it say about Moshe Rabbeinu? Ve'aish Moshe anav me'od. And the man Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, the humbleness, the most humbleness. What it means, the most humbleness? There's no one on earth that was humble like him. Why? Because Moshe Rabbeinu say, Ve'ani Heffer, and I'm a dust. I look at myself like a dust. I waste nothing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, you a dust? I'll make you the highest. What is the highest? The holy man, the cedar tree. He reached to the Torah. What is the Torah? He's a tree. You want to become a tree? Lower yourself, humble yourself. You'll know Torah. You'll be the highest. That's the message in that verse. Let's move to verse 14. And in verse 14, we see something quite extraordinary. And I'm sure that many of you ask that. But Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll try together to answer that question. In verse 14, the Torah tells us, Zot HaTorah, Adam ki yamut ba'oel, kol haba el ha'oel, ve'kol asher ba'oel, yitma shiv'at yamim.
This is the teaching regarding a man who would die in a tent. Anything that enters the tent and anything that is in the tent shall be contaminated for 7 days.
Okay, let me explain what Be'ezrat Hashem will try to learn together, what the Torah tried to teach us. The Torah tells us, Lo alenu, if a Jewish person reached to 120 and he passed away after 120, whoever was with him in a room or in a tent, whatever it was, he get contaminated. Not necessary that he touched them. As long that he was in a room with him, he get contaminated. And that's, Rabotai, when the Mashiach come and he's gonna do the Para Aduma, the 10 red heifer, when he's gonna sprinkle those water, that's one of the tum'ot, or that's the main tumah that it's gonna purify us from, tum'at met. That means the impurity of a deceased. And immediately become the question that Hazal asked. Hazal asked, I don't understand, many of the Mefarshim ask that. How come that when a Jewish person come in contact, when I say in contact, not physically contact, in a room that was a Jewish body, he become contaminated. Lehavdil, when he was in a room of a body of a Gentile, he doesn't get contaminated. When does he get contaminated? When he touched the body of the Gentile, the dead body. So Hazal say, I don't understand. How come that the Jewish body make a Jewish person get contaminated? And a non-Jewish body doesn't make a Jewish person get contaminated. That's the question. And previous year I brought different ideas. Today I'm going to bring a commentary that I saw from Rabbi Levy. Rabbi Levy lived in the 16th century. He was one of the students of Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Yitzhak Luria Ashkenazi. And he wrote the book Hein Tov. And in his book, he explained like this. He said, you have to understand that all the Jewish neshama, the soul of a Jewish person, it's been carved from where? Under the chair of glory of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means every Jewish neshama belong underneath the chair of glory. That means it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu crafted. Until here, I hope that you understand. Say like this. Every Jewish neshama, it's Helek Eloka Mimal. It's part of the Almighty from heaven. That means every Jewish neshama have a part that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put in that neshama. Why am I saying it? You'll see now. And he said like this. He said like this, that the evil forces, when they see such a holy neshama, they want to clean into it. They want to clean. They just want to hold into that purified and pure neshama. But they can't. Why? Because as long as a Jewish person is alive, they can't clean into that neshama. So what they do? Explain Rabbi Levy like this. Lo alenu, when a person reaches his time and he go up to heaven, what happened? The neshama leaves the body stay on earth, but the neshama go up to heaven. Immediately, the impression left on a body. So what's happened? All of those evil forces, all of those impurity clean into the body, and it's full of tumah, full of impurity. He said, when you come into contact with that, that make you impure. Okay, now we understand. But what is the message for us, Rabotai? The message for us is to understand that as long that the person is alive, they can't come because the neshama is inside us. What does that mean? The message here is for us to understand that every Jewish soul, make no difference if he's a scholar person, if he's a medium, or even if he's a wicked. The evil forces cannot clean into him. Why? Because he has such a holy neshama that they're not allowed to touch that energy in our terms, to understand. That means that the Jewish neshama is so pure, even if he do averot, even if he doing sin, the neshama suffer. But those evil forces not allowed to touch him. Can't come near him and to clean into them. Why? Because the neshama is so holy. So from here you learn, as long that a person is alive, you're doing mitzvot. And if you're doing mitzvot, you're purifying your neshama. And you're purifying your neshama, you understand on what level you are. So what's happened? When that holy neshama that you're doing mitzvot with, you're learning Torah, like we're doing now together. Thanks God to all of you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So I'm learning with you. Thank you, guys. We're learning Torah. That doesn't allow the evil forces to come near us. Why? Because we're alive. But the impression that we leave on our body after the neshama go up to heaven, they see that impression of holiness, they come and clean into it. And they don't want to leave it. And that's when a person, a Jewish person, come to contact with a Jewish deceased, become impure. Now we understand why is a Jewish body make a person contaminated, even that he didn't touch it. While a body of the nation, the non-Jewish person, doesn't contaminate a Jewish person. Only if he touch it. And I tell you a secret, I tell you a story. The story goes like this. Rabbi Milovlin was a Kohen. And in his time, they're going to welcome the king, and they needed to pass through a Jewish cemetery. So when they passed the Jewish cemetery, he didn't go through. He gone around, because he was a Kohen, he's not allowed to cross. But when it's come to a Gentile graveyard, a cemetery, he crossed with them. And immediately everyone asked him, I don't understand. A Jewish grave, you gone all around. But when we cross through the Gentile cemetery, you walked with us, and we know that you are Kohen. Look how he answered them. He said to them, you people say, listen in the chokhmah of our sages, how we have to answer the goyim, how when someone tried to tease us, how we know how to answer. And he said like this. He said to them, you believe that they talking about the bulldog that's still hanging, he gone up to heaven. He doesn't have a grave. So he can be anywhere. How a Kohen can pass next to him? He can be next to this grave. He can be next to that grave. I can't pass there because I can contaminate it. But we know that Moshe Rabbeinu, our prophet, our Moshe Rabbeinu, our king, he died. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu buried him in Bagai, Mul Bet Peor. So we know that he's buried just before the entrance to Jerusalem by the Jordan Valley. So we know where he is. So I know that your graveyard is not contaminating. But our graveyard, we know where he is. So I can't go through there. You understand the chokhmah how we answer that? Let's move on. And now I'm going to skip to chapter 20 in verse 2. And in verse 2, we'll see something very interesting that the Torah speak about. And Be'ezrat Hashem will try to understand. You know what? I'm going to read 1 and 2, and I'm going to put it together. Mark, I'm going to read chapter 20, verse 1 and 2, okay?
Yep.
ויבואו בני ישראל, כל העדה, מדבר צין, בחודש הראשון, וישב העם בקדש, ותמות שם מרים, ותיקבר שם. verse 2, ולא היה מים לעדה, ויקהלו על משה ועל אהרון. בכבוד.
The children of Israel, the whole assembly, arrived at the wilderness of Zin in the first month, and the people settled in Kadesh. Miriam died there, and she was buried there. There was no water for the assembly, and they gathered against Moses and Aaron.
Okay. There is something very interesting in this two psukim. The Torah starts, Vayavo bnei Israel, and the children of bnei Israel came. How's it end? Vayeshev ha'am, and the nation sit in Kadesh. Kadesh is a place in a wilderness. Okay? It's mentioned one Bnei Israel, remember, one nation. And a second verse, it says, Velo haya maim la'eda, and it was not water for the assembly. What's happening here? We have to understand. One time it's mentioned Bnei Israel. Then it's dropped down to the nation. He doesn't mention again Bnei Israel, it's a nation. After that, he mentioned the assembly. Why is all of this now? That's the question that's been asked by Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh. Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh, just to give you a history about him, he born in a city of Andripoli 513 years ago in Turkey. Andripoli, it used to call Andripola. Andripola, it's today, that's the name, Andripola, it's in Turkey, it's a city. And he asked, why is it mentioned Bnei Israel, nation, assembly? So to answer that, we have to understand what Rashi said. Look what Rashi said. Rashi said like this. Rashi say a word, the name, nation in Parashat Be'alotcha. If you look at Parashat Be'alotcha in chapter 11, verse 1, Rashi say that the word nation referring, wherever it's mentioned nation, referring to the wicked people. That's all. What's happening here? We have to understand. So Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh, that understood that, jumped immediately into the wagon. And he said like this. And he quoting the Yalkut Shimoni. Yalkut Shimoni is a midrash. And in verse 247 and verse 763. He explained like this. He explained, you know what was the reason that they didn't have water in the wilderness? We know in the merit of Miriam, they have water. And the problem is because Miriam died, people think that the water stopped, the well of Miriam. Come, the Yalkut Shimoni, bring the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh. He said, no, that wasn't the reason. If you read exactly the psukim, you can understand why. It says, Vayavo Bnei Israel kol ha'eda. That means the children of Israel and the entire assembly came to the wilderness of Tzim. When? On the first month. What does it say next? Vayeshev ha'am. And the wicked people sit. What does it mean sit? Say Al-Sheikh HaKadosh and we breathe in the name of the Midrash, Yalkut Shimoni, by that it says Vayeshev ha'am, that the nation was apathetic. What does it mean, apathetic? That they didn't care. That means that there was adishut, apathetic. That means that they didn't given her the right hesped, and they didn't use, when they bury her, they didn't show her any gratitude. It's in merit of that, they didn't have water. And immediately all the Mefarshim ask, include Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh, okay, that was the wicked people in a Jewish nation. So in that case, punish the wicked people. Why? Also Bnei Israel that's the highest level, and the assembly, that they are righteous, how come they also didn't have water? That's the question the question that the Mefarshim ask. Yes, we understand the wicked people and the Jewish people didn't given enough respect, didn't show enough respect, they didn't eulogize properly to Miriam, they've been punished, no water. I understand that, fair enough. Because in the merit of Miriam for 40 years, they have water all over the wilderness. And now that you didn't eulogize her and didn't show her the right honor, you've been punished. Okay, that I can understand. But how come Bnei Israel and Itzeh Ha'edah, that's assembly, also been punished? That's the question of the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh. He bring in an answer that all of us have to listen to it, and look how our sages look at it. He said the answer to it rely in the Gemara in Masechet Baba Kama, in page 92, folio 1, Hazal say, when a person weeds his garden from weeds, inevitably, Hazal say, when you take off weeds that you don't need, you'll take with it shrubs, you take with it nice flower. Why? Because you weed the garden. He says it's the same. When a wicked people do averot, the righteous people immediately suffering. That means that although that the punishment comes for the wicked people, unfortunately also the righteous people get suffered from it. And that will help us to understand question that many people ask. How come that sometimes we see good people suffering? So the answer to it is here. Where? For Miriam. Because the wicked people didn't eulogize properly to Miriam, they've been punished. But that punishment affected also the righteous people, the scholar peoples. What do you learn from it? That the Jewish people, we one nation, one chain. And if one doing wrong, there is the effect that can affect on other Jewish person. Let's move on. In chapter 20, verse 29, I'm going to end up with something good, Be'ezrat Hashem, something that's going to give us a bit of hizuk. And at the beginning, it will sound very strange. How can I say it? But I will, Be'ezrat Hashem, with your help, try to find the right passroad to bring it together. Look what it says. It says like this in chapter 20, verse 29. ויראו כל העדה כי גבה הארון, ויפקו את הארון 30 יום כל בית ישראל.
When the entire assembly saw that Aaron had perished, they wept for Aaron 30 days, the entire house of Israel.
Some fact about what we read. If you look carefully, no one, it doesn't mention that the nation or the assembly or Bnei Israel actually cried, not for Moshe Rabbeinu and not for Miriam for 30 days. Moshe Rabbeinu that redeemed them from Egypt for 40 years in the wilderness, taught them the Torah, make them a free nation. All the miracle that he done, they never cry for 30 days. Miriam Neviah, Miriam, that given them water for 40 years in a wilderness, they never cried for 30 days. By the way, I forget to mention, you know why Miriam merit to give water to the nation? Why dafka water? Because Miriam stood by the Nile to watch what's going to happen with her brother Moshe. She stood by the water. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, you stood and watch your brother by the Nile, by the water, to make sure that nothing going to harm to him until things going to work out properly. I will merit. And the same mitzvah that you done with water, that you're going to give water to the entire Jewish people for 40 years in the wilderness. Okay, let's go back to what we spoke. Why they eulogized for 30 days and they was crying to Aaron and no one else. So Hazal explained simply, Aaron ohev shalom v'rodef shalom. What does it mean? Aaron HaKohen used to love peace and used to run after peace. And Hazal explained in Masechet Avot, Aaron used to love peace. What it means used to love peace, ohev shalom? He used to make peace between him and everyone. But Rodef Shalom, if he used to see two friends fighting, have a tzoros, a husband and a wife, he used to make shalom bait. He used to make shalom between them. And Hazal tell us in the Gemara, listen to that when Moshe Rabbeinu died, 80 young men was walking to eulogize for them. And what was their name? Aharon. Chazal explained in the Gemara, you know why? Because Moshe Rabbeinu brought Shlom Bayit between the parents, and they say, in merit of that, I'm going to call my son Aaron. That's how much the nation love Aaron. Okay? Until here, we understand. But let's, Be'ezrat Hashem, try to do a kushiyah, to ask question and to answer it. So I'm going to go to the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat in page 108, folio 2. Chazal tell us about this verse that you learn from here that the entire nation cried for Moshe Rabbeinu for 30 days. You learn something extraordinary. Chazal say in a Gemara. I'm going to read it in Hebrew and then I translate it to English. Kol hamorid ma'ot al adam kasher, a person that cry on a person that is a kasher didn't sin. What does it say? Kol hamorid dma'ot al adam kasher, akadosh baruch hu sofram umenicham bebet knazar. That means akadosh baruch hu count those tears and take them to his treasure house. What is the Gemara try to tell us? The Mefarshim ask, we don't understand. Akadosh Baruch Hu know everything. Akadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need to count. Akadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need to hide it. Who's going to steal from Akadosh Baruch Hu? Akadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere and anywhere. He's in charge. He's in charge in heaven and he's in charge on earth. Anyone can tell him anything. Anyone can steal anything from him. What's happening here? We have to understand. That's the Shaila of Chazal and Gemara. Many of the Mefarshim give him beautiful ideas. I'm going to bring today the ideas of the Gaon Hida. The Gaon Hida, Rabbi Haim Yosef David Azulai. He born in Jerusalem 296 years ago. And he explained like this. He explained, Hazal come to teach us here something extraordinary. Hazal tell us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu counting the tears. Not only that he counting the tears, he put them where? In his treasure house. What's happening here? Hazal tell us that if you want something to have a brocha, you don't show it. That means if you're doing well, keep quiet, shtum, don't show off. Don't drive the fancy car. Drive normal car, don't show off. You want a brocha? Hazal said, davar hasamui min ha'ayin, that people can't see. I want to tell you something. Hazal tell us in a Gemara that two of our sages was walking to a cemetery, a Jewish cemetery. And they say, I want to correct myself. I'm not sure if it was a Jewish cemetery. And they say, one sage say to the others, 90% of the people that bury in this cemetery die from the evil eye. Just to understand what is evil eye. Say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, say the Gaon Hida, HaKadosh Baruch Hu dafka count those tears. Why does he count those tears? Said the Gaon Hida, that the evil eye will be on those tears. Why? Why do we need evil eye on the tears? He said, yes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu done it on purpose. You know why he done it on purpose? That the evil eye will have an ayin hara on the tears. And if people will have, the evil inclination will have the ayin hara on that tears, that means that no more righteous people will die. That means HaKadosh Baruch Hu asking to do evil eyes on the tears, that no more righteous people will die. So we learn from here how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves us. That when Aaron passed away, Hazal say, or if a righteous person die and people have tears, HaKadosh Baruch Hu collect those tears. Why? To show everyone that those the tears. And when they see the tears, when I say everyone, you know who I'm talking about. The Malach HaMavet, the angel of death, that he'll take and put ayin hara on it, And if you put Ain Hara, there's no more death. That we learn from here how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu love is righteous. That he doesn't want Adam Kasher. Adam Kasher is a person that doesn't do Averot. And I would like to bless you all, Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bless us, that we all will have Briut, it means health, wealth, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu guard us and protect us from the virus that's running today and getting actually out of hand. Lo alenu in this world. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will tell the Malach HaMavet, Heref, enough, go away. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will protect us and guard us and send us refuah shlema to us, to each one of us, to all the sick people, to all the Jewish sick people all over the world. And Be'ezrat Hashem will send Mashiach Tzidkenu, and then he will sprinkle the ash of the red heifer, and then we're not going to be any more contaminated, and we manage then to do tikkun, that we will live forever. Why? Because then it's going to come the final tikkun. What is the final tikkun of Eitz Hadat? That no one will die. There's no more death in the world. So that's what we're waiting, that Mashiach Tzidkenu will come speedily in our days and will live, and he's going to do the resurrection of the dead, and then we can all unite together, all the Jewish people. And Be'ezrat Hashem, refuah shlema to our friend Liron ben Yehudit, v'kol amo bet Israel, and whoever need refuah shlema, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will guard you and will guard us, our family, your family, every Jewish person, wherever he is, and send them refuah shlema and protect them from all different viruses. And I would like to take the opportunity to wish each one of you, first of all, thank you for listening, and to wish you personally Shabbat Shalom, and enjoy your Shabbos. Now it's time for question. If anyone have any question, please unmute yourself and you can ask whatever question, and I'll try to answer Be'ezrat Hashem. Any question, Rabotai? No question?
Okay, I've got a question, Raz.
Sure. Bechavod, Mark.
Okay. At the burial service, it says, there's no man on earth who is righteous and never sins. But you've mentioned tonight two people, Moshe and the Rav Kodozo.
No, Aramak. Rabbi Moshe Cordoviro.
Okay, so
Rabbi
there are
Moshe
two people who
Cordoviro.
never sinned.
No, there is 10. No,
Sorry?
wait, there is 10. I'm going to make your question even more difficult. I know where you're going. What you're saying to me, אין צדיק בארץ אשר יעשה טוב ולא יחטא, נכון?
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to make you talking about 2. No, there is 10. Ishai, the father of David, was one of them. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levy was one of them.
So then why do we say in the burial service there's no person that
so
doesn't
how's it
sin?
fit? Where is it? You're telling me אין צדיק בארץ אשר יעשה טוב ולא יחטא. How's it fit? נכון? That's what you're asking.
Sure.
שאלה, a great question. You know, Mark, what they say about people like you? מכל מלמדיי השכלתי. בן זומא אומר, the Mishnah in Masechet Avot, the one before the end, in Perek Gimel. בן זומא אומר, מכל מלמדיי השכלתי, ומתלמידיי יותר, מכל. That means I can learn from every student, from every human being. But from a student, I can learn the most. That's what they say. So תגיד, ברוך שכיוונתי. Say, ברוך שכיוונתי. Now, I try to answer, Be'ezrat Hashem, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us enough chokhmah, enough wisdom to answer. Nachon, that was certain people that never sin, like Moshe Rabbeinu. But there is certain people, like you and me, we normal. We פשוטי העם, simple. Those people, to give us the chizuk, Hazal say like this. Hazal say, אין צדיק בארץ אשר יעשה טוב ולא יחטא. It's to give us a chizuk that even if you see that you collapse, don't give up. Don't lose hope. That was the message of Shlomo HaMelech. But to answer that, we talking about, who we talking? Moshe Rabbeinu, Ish Elokim, the man of God. You're talking about Cordoviro, Rabbi Moshe Cordoviro, he called Pardes Rimonim. He wrote a book, Pardes Rimonim. Pardes Rimonim, it's the orchard of pomegranate. That's all about Kabbalah. He explained there, let me explain to you. In that book, he explained the color. Adan Shi'ur once about color. How's the color fit with us? He look at the person, he can tell you the history from the day that he born, from the day of the creation until he born, sorry. That's a Ramak, Rabbi Moshe Cordoviro. So there is only 10 of them. Those one, they're different. Shlomo HaMelech, when he came and spoke, he spoke to the simple people like me. I'm a simple person. What do I know? I hardly can read Hebrew. If it wasn't for you, I couldn't read Hebrew. He came to speak for people like me. Listen, when you do averot, don't give up. That's mean. אין צדיק בארץ אשר יחטא ולא יעשה טוב. That means there is no such thing that a person will sin all of his life. There is no such thing. Don't give up. It's come to speak to us, not to the righteous people. And you know what? Last year I spoke about Moshe hitting the rock, because that's what Moshe Rabbeinu been punished not to enter Eretz Israel. I wish that will be my punishment and all of you, that's going to be all our sin, to hit the rock. Do you understand?
Okay, so I got another question.
Wait. Vachabiki. You know, in Yiddish we say Vachabiki. You understand Yiddish?
I know, I thought it was Irish.
Okay, so Vachabiki. Moshe Rabbeinu been punished on what? He hit the rock. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to him, speak to the rock. Why Moshe Rabbeinu didn't speak to the rock? Hazal say, one of the ideas, there's many ideas, one of the ideas, because Erev Rab was there, the multination. Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid. I'm going to speak to the rock. Those people that idols believers going to think that I'm an idol worshiper. And the entire nation going to follow that. Do you understand what Moshe Rabbeinu died? Do you understand the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, how he looked? He didn't look now. He looked for generation. That if people will say, I spoke to the rock, the Erev Rav will say, even Moshe Rabbeinu was whispering to stone, speaking to stone. One of the mitzvot in the Torah that you should not whisper. Nachon? No? You understand? That's Moshe Rabbeinu. He deserved not to sin. People like me, you righteous people, Mark, you're a great chat. Me, I'm talking to me, where I am. Okay, you want to ask another question?
No, I just wanted to know, you said that Moses was buried on a hill or a mountain opposite Jericho. So that must be on the east side of the Jordan River, not in Israel, because he wasn't allowed into Israel. So it's on the east bank.
Wait, whoa, no, whoa, not the east bank, wait. It's the Vayikbor oto Bagai in a valley, mul Bet Peor, rega, on a mountain. Bet Peor, first of all, let's put things in perspective, let's explain. Bet Peor, it's an idol worships. It's a kind of idol worshipping. We spoke about it before. It's not a nice, I don't want to speak about it. Moshe Rabbeinu have to stand there. Why dafka there? You have to bury? Because that's idols criticize all the time against the Jewish people. So he have to fight against them to stop the criticizing. That means when the Jewish people sin, Moshe Rabbeinu have to be the good advocate, the good lawyer to fight against the criticizer. Where is it? Mul Bet Peor. Where's Bel Peor? Bet Peor was where plus minus. Where is Jericho? Why
Jericho's
Jericho?
right near the Jordan River.
That's it. That's it. Now, you have to understand, the first war that happened to the Jewish people, what was the first war when
Jericho.
Yeshua entered Eretz Israel? What was the first city that you have to conquer?
Where's Jericho?
Nachon?
Yep.
Where is all the problem? Jericho. Hazal
It still is.
It is, yeah. Because you know who's there, our cousin.
Our
Listen
uncle
what
there.
it says. Hazal tell us, Arur, curse, Arur, Hagever, Asher Yivne et Yericho. That means curse the man that's going to build Jericho. That you know, Nachon? You know that. You learn from here that Moshe Rabbeinu have to fight. Now you understand the fight that Moshe Rabbeinu have to do. Why he buried it. You understand?
Yeah, but is it right opposite Jericho or?
It's opposite Jericho exactly. I don't know. No one knows.
Okay.
ואיש לא ידע את גבורתו. No man
Yeah.
know exactly where he buried. We know that it's opposite Jericho. Where exactly? It's a cross. It's a cross by the Jordan River, by the valley, but it's in Eretz Israel. Where exactly? It's just outside Eretz Israel. Ask me how I know. How do we know? Because HaKadosh
Hashem
Baruch
said
Hu
you
said
won't
to
enter
Moshe
the land.
Rabbeinu, you should see the land, but you're
You
not
will not
gonna
enter.
enter. But that doesn't mean that he didn't bury him there. Aha, you understand?
maybe. Yeah.
Moshe Rabbeinu never married to enter, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu can bury him in Eretz Israel. Do you understand? To protect the
Good.
Jewish people.
Thank you,
Guys,
Rav.
any other question? Any other question, guys? Bechavod, if anyone have any question, I would love to try and answer. I see John. John, thank you for joining us. It's very nice to see you. Gavin, it's good to see you. I didn't say hello to you. Who else I didn't say hello? Gabriel's there. I say hello. Gabriel, I hope that you're going to have a warm and lovely Shabbos in George. Please, God, safe. Look after yourself. Guys, I would like, I see, there's any question before I say goodbye, before I say good night? No. So I would like to take the opportunity to wish you all refuah shleima, a health, to be safe, to be protected, look after yourself, and have a great Shabbos. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Go to Rav. Thank you.
Rabbi, thank you
Ciao, ciao.
very much.